I did start doing it some before 70, but man, it really takes off at 70 when you can throw on all those other attractants and stuff. It's a game changer for sure. Alright, let's actually go to the back. So we are at 75. And at least from what I've seen, we are starting off with a little bit bigger setup than what a lot of folks are using. So, oh man, I should find out who's getting an Angry Hallie. I wonder where they're fishing at. Yo, Gratz Comrades on a Trophy Nace. Gratz Just Wrens on a Trophy Common. Roach, Gratz to Zerk on Trophy Gibble. Ronaldo's getting spooled at the 30 meter. Probably a halibut. I don't know. Maybe not a halibut then. Maybe it's a shark. Huh. All right, let's go. Question is, how long is it going to take us to get a bite on this fairly big setup on the 70? Oh, I'm not getting perk. I just noticed. Now we are. Now we're getting it. Looks like the answer might be takes quite a while to get a bite on this setup at the 75. All right. So now the question is, we got a bite. How worthwhile was the bite? Oh, it's so nice.
That's so nice.
I'm sure it'll hurt my back in the long run, but all of a sudden I have so much more space for my back to fit in the chair. Probably just ought to use the small one on my lumbar, but well, so much for the Rockies winning this. I mean, being in the lead.
Even Michael Harris, he just said that too. His dad threw out the first pitch
Why?
for Father's Day.
Oh, that's cool.
So they're there.
Okay, it's looking a little cusky. It's looking a little cusky so far. Yeah, happy Father's Day to everyone. Already time to stretch. What's up, Bream Slayer? Oh, that's awesome, Zach. Yeah, those are some of the best for their size. Holy cow. What's this? All the funny golf movies that's been made?
Oh, is it paying for something commercial?
Oh, chat. If this keeps up, we're gonna have to change. Wait, was it both the 03? No, 07, 03. What's the, what are the weekly European squids on? I feel like this is one of the spots where they've been a little bit more active, from what I've heard. 12, 23, and 16. Yeah, unmarked cusk, exactly. Yes, this king crab self are very good. No, if you can figure out a way to target king crab, you're in business. They're just, as far as I know, a very lucky bycatch at the moment. Kind of like squid and edible crabs, or whatever they are. Crab cages would be cool. Yeah, it's fascinating what Fisher Online's doing with like traps and that kind of thing, where you like put them out for a certain amount of time and it, you know, gathers baits. It's pretty interesting. It's like we've talked about having something like that in RF4 for years, it feels like. So it's interesting to see what like a version of that looks like over in Fisher Online. Yo, chat, we're nothing if not consistent. I had a good bite rate more to the east. Right on the edge of that diagonal area. Like over in here, actually in the other square. Is that what you're saying? I mean, I probably should move at least a little bit. We have caught 3 cusk in a row. Oof. It's kind of brutal. And they're not even that big considering the size lures and stuff we have. where it dips in. Yeah. I'll work my way that way. I just want to kind of see how it's going over here. Oh, you're talking about like in your room, not in the game, Moy? So does that mean your PC's running hot, or it's just hot and you're afraid it's affecting your PC? All right, here we go. Let's try to catch something that doesn't start with a C and end with an USK. Yeah, I hear you. I know, I've got 2 fans blowing on me right now. Because where my computer is actually upstairs. And in the summer, even though like the upstairs has its individual unit up here, it just can't keep up with the heat. I don't know if y'all know this, but apparently heat rises. I think we just go down to the 80 eventually if this doesn't pick up. Or even if it does, just for variety. At some point we'll go down to the 80, see if we can get luckier with swords or poor beagles or whatever. RF4 makes your PC cook? Really? Captain Fury says, how's the sea fishing going? Just started, and all I've got is cusk. I mean, we literally have 3 cusk. Zach says, my PC puts off so much heat, it's terrible. Yeah, it's no fun. You had to turn your FPS to max at 100, and that makes it fine. Is it still Breamslayer so laggy in the city part for you? Interesting. Actually, I think Cusk are pretty bad XP, if I remember correctly. Silver-wise, they're fine. To me, it's just like... Sometimes I get on these Cusk runs, I just enjoy the variety. And when all I'm catching is Cusk, I'm just kind of like, okay, this probably isn't the spot for me, you know? But it's fine. I mean, Cusk add up for silver. They're just maybe a little common at this point. You know how it gets. Everybody complains about them. I mean, to be fair, I'm using a pretty expensive rig to be catching non-marker Cusk. Like, if that's what we're going to be catching, that doesn't justify me using this rig. Now, this changes everything. That is cool though. Like if you can literally just, move around, find different spots where different fish are going to be active, that's pretty cool. That's what you want to see. I actually have no idea how many hours I have in RF4. There's so many different accounts at this point. It'd be hard to add it all up. Oh, just Maine? Is that on statistics? 4036. And this account has been active since the English server started, pretty much. So, however many years ago. Hey, love it. Spiny dogfish. All right, now we're getting on the fish we want to be on. You're at 4,500? Wow. All right, 2 awfully good catches in a row. Let's see what's next here. We're drifting a little bit to the side, but what are we on here? Yeah, we're good. So this isn't too big. Whatever it is. Is that English guy, number 5? Is that who we were talking about today at lunch?
Harris English, yeah. And he went to Baylor School and Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
That's what Marty was saying. Oh, yeah, you weren't back yet, but yeah. He was saying he's not from this area, but he went to Baylor. Yeah.
Right.
Mm. Mm. We'll just forget that one happened. See if anybody in chat has any info on big fish out here today. Any recent trophies been posted in our Discord or RF4's Discord? Tet says Hallie's at 80. So maybe 80 again is where, if we want to chase some big fish, where we need to be again. Tuna and shark at 55. Really? Tuna and shark at 55? That sounds amazing. Don't know what the info is about targeting them. Alright, so let's see if anybody's posted in our Discord. Okay, trophy cod. Oh, on the 41. Wow, that's a big cod on the Lurker 100. I mean, it can happen, but that's not very common, is it? The 120 bottom perking. That's using Gummy, though. Yeah, I wish I had Gummy unlocked. I'd go catch some of those trophy redfish if I did. Looks like 83 at Amber is where it's at today, huh? Any of y'all fished at 83 at Amber? Seeing all kinds of trophies coming out there. No, I'm almost off to the east. Almost too far east right now. We'll move in a second. Was that another 2-run home run? Holy cow. Is that his second home run of the day?
He had, I think, 6 RBIs today, at least. Because I know the first 4 runs were all his RBIs.
All Rosario?
Yeah.
And is that his second home run, or have they been on not on home runs? Okay, you don't have to look.
I don't know. Yeah, the second home run. We had a 3-run home run the second.
Ooh, that is a nice fish. Another nice fish. We'll go right back here. All right, so they're saying pink gummy. Pink gummy. I don't have gummies. Too bad. Isn't Gummy the Gummy Mac stuff? Bream Slayer says, I'm on last trip of Norway, fishing Norway, haven't unlocked using like cut bait with my spoons and stuff. What can I do to maximize my silver XP for the last trip? I would use, the only thing that I might consider on your last trip is, do you want to get that Lurker 100? Right? That's the only thing. If you already have that, obviously keep using it. If you don't have it, that's the thing I would consider. Other than that, just, you know, fish the active holes, or actually they're not holes, the active banks. 34, 40, maybe go 55 a little bit, take some chances, try to hit a money fish or two, but that's what I would say. I think that Lurker 100, blue Lurker 100 is still doing really good work on the 34 and the 41. So like that's the thing that I would consider doing. It's like 100 silver, but once you get to Norway anyway, you'll be glad you have it. So it's not like it's wasted silver. Captain Fury says 83 amber, good for me, but no trophies yet. Happy Father's Day to you, if that applies, or to someone that you're close with. Maybe Jigmeister got tuna. Maybe we'll go with a medium-sized Jigmaster. I don't want to go small one, but maybe a mid-sized Jigmaster. I like the Jigmaster lures a lot. I think we'll actually move a little bit farther north after this fish, if we get a fish here. I think I'm going to spend one more. Well, I forget. Like the 55 really isn't that far away from here. Does PVA increase chance for trophy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think PVA does increase your chance. Higher quality, bigger fish, higher quality fish. It's not the only factor, obviously, but yeah, if you're doing good, I wouldn't sweat the trophies if you don't have PVA unlocked. Just enjoy making that amber silver, you know. What's up, Scotty? Yeah, I feel the same way, Captain Furious. I'm just glad that there's ways for people that don't have PVA yet to still get some enjoyment out of amber. It's going good. How are you? These next couple fish to me are going to be pretty important as I try to make a decision between staying here versus... Ooh, that's cafe order. I don't know how long it has, but 1.5 hake, I believe, was the cafe order. Between staying here or going down to 55 and 80. We might stay another day up here. Or we might go ahead and switch. I'm not sure. Yeah, there you go. That's good. That's really good. As long as you have ways to feed the water, I think that makes up for a lot of the difference. Oh, man. Nice trophy common roach. Zavetched. You're good, just tired, Scotty. Wait, somebody had a blue tag barbel at 83,145 on pellets and salmon. People are still using that. That setup is still going strong, huh? At amber. Man, I would love to have a rare barbel. That's so cool. I got a nice 7-kilo barbel, but with different baits. So they're there, huh? You just posted something in general chat? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the boats do that on Norway all the time. Like it's like, especially in the spawn area of where the boat spawns. But even when you're out, like if you get off at an island or something, a lot of times it just sinks. It's so weird. That's happened several times to me. Finn Float, Grats on level 13. guess you're staying there. You're missing Tunguska or what, Scotty? Just getting tired of this carp fishing? Oh, wait, what are you doing? You're not carp fishing. Or maybe you are carp fishing because you caught the barbel. Oh, you're level 29. You got all your setups for Tunguska? Oh, you're so close. So you're just catching carp to get to Tunguska. Yeah. Another nice whiting. I mean, overall, the quality of fish up here, other than just, you know, a lot of cusk, but I mean, overall, the quality's been good. The bite rate hasn't been terrible, considering the setup we're using. Everything's a little smaller than I want it to be, considering the setup we're using, but submergible engines, yeah. You really are ready to go. What about, do you have anything ultralight or light for the little river? Your casting setup is light, nice. Yeah, no, light's perfect. You don't need ultralight. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the lurker you want is, the 100.7, this one. That would be the first lurker I would get, personally. $100.07. Another nice fish. Again, we don't need this huge setup for anything we're catching here, but what is better reel, Goliath 30,000 or Taiga LTD 42S? I have no idea. Goliath, I mean, is a really nice spinning reel. You've got the spinning flexibility if you want to fish for sturgeon or something, I guess. I don't know about that Taiga, but I assume it's a very nice conventional reel, so just less flexible, but probably a little better on the sea. I haven't used either one of those reels personally, though. Wait, you just caught it, Grim? Yo, nice mirror trophy, Sazanas. Congrats, Grim. That's awesome. 83, I'm guessing? Or somewhere else? Wait, who's Gray Fox? I mean, I know who Gray Fox is, but how did you know Gray Fox did something to say nice to? Scaly albino. Let me look it up. As much as we're catching nice fish here, I think like I've either got to change to my medium setup or move and go somewhere for bigger fish. Look at these dogfish we're catching though. All right, here's my question. What are they biting on? Jigmeister. Natural squid 2307. Jigmeister. Those dogfish do like the... Those dogfish do like the big lure, don't they? Did we just cast it that far? Yo, Galv. Nice trophy cusk. Am I streaming next Saturday? No, we'll be gone. I'll be gone. I'll be gone. That's our first of 2 weeks of vacation.
The next Saturday.
But but there's a weekend in between. So we're gone for the first week. There's a long weekend in between that I'll stream a lot, and then there's the second week. Those 2 weeks. So those 2 weeks I'm on vacation. How deep is it right here? What's going on next Saturday, Scotty? Oh, you got a table tennis. Are you in the tournament? I've been all over it, Slip. I was earlier, yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Scotty. Global first place. Oh yeah, I didn't look at it yet. I need to look that up real quick. This is a dogfish. By the way, after this, I'm going to look up. I want to see what the largest spiny dogfish is I have. $4.248. Okay. That was such a strange drink.
When you combine it with the coffee?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely got better. I still probably wouldn't get it again. You know what I mean? But it was just strange. So is there not a way for me to ignore people in chat without kicking them from the group? If I put somebody on blacklist and ignore them because I'm the group owner, the chat owner, I'm pretty sure it kicks them from our chat. It's literally like, I don't know if it's young people. It's like their sense of humor. Like this is why I don't necessarily want to just flat out kick them from our chat. And you may be one of these people that I'm talking about, and so please don't take offense to this, but it's like my sense of humor is so different than yours. And I just think some of the stuff that people in chat talk about it's just not helpful. It's not worthwhile in any way. I'm like, just move that garbage to personal messages. Nobody wants to read all that. And so I don't really know how to resolve it. I just don't want to read it when I'm playing the game is my thing. And yet I don't know that it rises to the level of kicking them out of the community. You think if I put them on blacklist, it will just make it where I can't see them, but not kick them out of chat? But this is what happened last time. I had to add somebody back. I had blacklisted them so that I wouldn't see them in chat, and then they were kicked out of our group. You know? You think so, Quantum? I'm just not sure if it works different with me being the ooh, that fish just dropped off, by the way. Can we see what it... No, because it didn't drop off the fillet, so the fillet is still there. Alright. Alright. Well, I guess if they if they got kicked from our chat, they'll let me know and I'll unblacklist them. Trying to see if anyone else. There were definitely people like talking with that person. But that person was the one that said the stuff that was the most annoying to me. I don't know. It's just like the amount of messages some of these people are saying in chat. It's like, what are you even talking about, and why are you feeling like you need to speak this much? I don't know. It's just weird. Okay. Okay, good. Good, it worked. So maybe last time when it didn't work, maybe I just didn't click blacklist like I thought. Maybe I kicked him from the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they have that feature because, you know, I mean, it's fair to say everybody's sense of humor is different, and I don't know, but I just don't, that does not help my enjoyment of the game at all. The extent of my in-game chats are nice fish and grats. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. There's a lot of people in our chat that are just there just to kind of see what other people are up to and hear about spots and, you know, maybe occasionally say something nice to somebody or whatever. But just the constant, like, sarcastic, critical, I guess, humor or whatever, to me just gets so old. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Ranex. No, I absolutely, like, no matter how new somebody is or if they've been around for a long time, I think questions, figuring out things, like, that's what it's for. But, you know, like, turning it into your personal Twitter feed or something is a little much. Is that right, Bomar? So what? How did you resolve it, or how did it resolve? Yeah, that's exactly right, Bo. I mean, like, I would rather see what people are catching, you know, than hear about all of the sarcasm and, you know, random comments about random things. But this is a decent fish. It's definitely the biggest fish we've had, and it's kind of all over the place, like on how much strength it's got. Well, if it was an argument, I'm fine with. I'm happy to have missed it. Is that a safe? Oh no, it's a cod. That's cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind catching some cod out here. All right, so we're right on the edge here. Let's go again and see what we come up with. Um, That was cool though. Seeing some cod. I mean, I'd love to get a real big cod. That'd be so fun. I don't think I have that big of a cod. Well, that's not true. Yeah, we had an almost trophy. Actually, this is the cod that I caught while making that one video, and the audio was all messed up. This was the first video I did on how to level marine fishing using the little shrimp and stuff to catch mackerel. And I had this great video. It was about an hour long. I got so many points in marine fishing. It really like made it seem like I knew what I was talking about, which is hard to do at times. And then in the overnight hours, like I used to do a lot back then, I would throw in a small fillet or even a large fillet overnight. I caught this huge cod. So it was like this awesome time. And then I get it all uploaded and the audio's all garbled and messed up. It's really frustrating. Another decent fish here. So, yeah, Slip, I'm in your spot. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm in your spot here. Had a couple of decent fish in a row, too. So good job on you. So Bomar says, I asked the guy nicely to stop. He didn't, and then a bit more, and then he left chat. Gotcha. This is another nice fish. This actually might just be another cod. See the difference in the... Ooh, trophy gudgeon for Comrade ZA. I think it is a cod. Yeah, 2 in a row. Very cool. Welcome back, Scotty. We've had a couple nice fish in a row. Couple cod, 9.3 wolffish before that. Oh, somebody asked me about the cafe order, didn't they? Back before all that started. Was that the cafe size? You talking about the wolffish? I think it might have been a little bigger, right? I don't remember for sure, but I feel like the wolffish might have been a little bigger than that. What's wrong with the... Somehow the watch time is not it's not working properly. Obviously. Oh, is it 8.2? Okay, we're good. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. And I guess we can. I guess we're right, Moy. I guess you were right. We're good on the cafe size with that. Kinusai, greetings. Now we'll see what cafes are still up by the time we get back to port, but yeah, I'd say that's still, Tilted, I'd say that's still relevant. I will tell you that I think more and more people skip the HSV. Skip the Saber 60. So it's really just personal preference there, how long you're willing to save. I still think the Saber 60 has some value. It just depends on, like, if you're really just going to bottom fish for bream and stuff like that, you don't really need it before the HSV. But if you want to do a little bit of trolling at Cory, or if you want to try to go for a little bit bigger fish, then Saber 60 still has a place. I don't think you'll ever regret having the Saber 60. It turns into a really nice, like, mid-sized fish feeder rod reel, or even, like I said, spinning reel for Cory if you want to really feel the fight of the fish. But I also understand for efficiency, while some people these days decide to just skip right over the Saber 60. All right, I gotta watch this fish. I'm not sure what's going on with it. It went from, like, no problem at all to suddenly pushing it a little bit. All right, I think somebody just had a really nice fish in chat. Let me look at that real quick. Oh, common ghost carp, Cezonis. Didn't Cezonis just have the trophy mirror? Holy cow. Oh, that's exactly right, Scotty. Yeah, that's the issue though. If you take those Saber 60s to Volkov and hit the wrong salmon on it, yikes. Same thing with bear. Like, you technically could catch some okay carp on Saber 60s, but then you can also drive yourself a little bonkers trying to get the big carp in with Saber 60s. So it's a good, like, mid-tier spinning reel. I like them a lot, but like I said, I don't think I understand why some people just skip them these days. We are on the cod right now, guys. I don't think that's a bad place to be, right? XP silver, you could do a lot worse than hitting the Atlantic cod like this. Yeah, I love that suggestion though, Scotty. I mean, honestly, that's not that much silver considering the fun you can have on Cory with it. Putting two Saber 60s and two express fishing heavies together, that's a lot of fun. $10+ cods are worth. Yeah, I think they're pretty decent. I really do. And all three of them were over 10 kilos. Like, I think that's a pretty good haul just right there. So 75 right now, even even though I'm not fully sure that we're justified with the big setup, we do need the big rod in terms of the test of everything that we're using. So we don't necessarily need the power of the reel and the line fully. It's kind of borderline, but those cod are worthwhile. Yes, I agree. I think if the Saber 60 is out of stock and you end up having to get the Pulsar, I would prefer the Saber 60, but I think it's close. Especially if the use of, if what you're using them for is trolling Cory, I think it's very close. I also use Pulsars on my, I think it's my picker Boonisons, because like back in the day at some point after Pulsars came out, I'll show you in just a minute, but they were basically on sale for maybe like 1.5 gold a piece. So I just got 3 of them for my Boonison pickers, partially because like I just think they look cool. They're red on those Boonison pickers. They just look sharp, and then I have like a blue line that I use with them. I just really love the look of them. Yeah, you're right, Slip. You were right about this spot. It was really good. Oh, another spiny dogfish. All right, let me find him real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It wasn't even the full, I don't even know that it was the full Pulsar either. It might have been like a mid-tier. All right, Boonison picker. Yeah, Pulsar 4000. They just work great on these Boonison pickers. I mean, they're perfect. It's like the perfect setup with the blue line. I love the way they look. It was an awesome find. Oh, is that right, Bomar? That's awesome. It's good stuff. So, Bream Slayer, 5% more and you can use fillets. Nice. Let's see. Scotty said, in my opinion, the Saber is more of a spinning reel than the Pulsar. I've seen way more people use Pulsar on bottom rigs. Interesting. Why would they be worse than the Saber when spin fishing? The spool size doesn't matter because you're trolling Cory. Yo, happy Father's Day. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I agree. Happy Father's Day to everyone. What's up, Amar? What'd you catch it on? I actually need a trophy silver carp for one of the quests. I was trying to get it on maggots and bloodworm. I noticed they like leech and compound feed as well. Maggot? Okay. Your kids are still young, so you didn't get breakfast in bed? Yeah. One day, if that's what you desire. Isn't the HSV way stronger than the Alpha though? Isn't its max drag a good bit higher? I mean, I do think the HSV is more of a carp spinning reel, big spooled spinning reel than it is a. But I think it does fine as a spinning reel. That's awesome, Amar. Nice haddock. Nice little haddock. All right, let's try to get at least a little bit closer to our spot down here. Absolutely, Scotty. Weirdly enough, I think Narga 8000 is okay for Archie. I'm sure it's a pain to get bigger salmon, but overall it's okay. I've always heard people say they really like the Narga as a trolling or spin fishing reel. I've definitely heard that before, Moy. Is there a trailer hook or anything needed for the fillet? If you're doing a fillet reel, what does the fillet sit on? I'm trying to think. So like, are you talking about fillet jigging rig? So that just uses a jig head. Regular jig head. Alpha does okay. Take some time at Archie. Never tested HSV. Got my Alphas years ago when they were the best. Yeah. They were, the Alphas really what replaced the Gold 80s. And then Alphas went through some changes and eventually Alphas kind of got replaced. But obviously some people still use them and like them. Wait, you're talking about what I'm using? No, the fillet just sits at the bottom of the Pilker rig. You don't have to have a specific hook for it. If that's what you mean. I have an S-Eagle Bolo rod with a Sputnik 5.4 for Tunguska as my float setup. Do you think it's fine? Yes. I think it's fine. When you unlock it, I think you'll probably want to upgrade to a match rod. It just depends on like what's active on how. You know what I really like as an entryway match rod is this Kama Sport. This thing is not that expensive. It has a 14 kilo load capacity. So it's not that different than what you're using. It's a little bigger. Typically, you're not catching huge fish on float rods. But you never know. Sometimes like an Arctic char, and frankly, according to which of the whitefish are active, some of them do get bigger than others. But for the most part, yes, I think you'll be okay. The OG Sputnik was a great reel. Jovan, welcome back. It's good to see you as always. He's awake. Oh. I need to go tell him happy Father's Day. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Got your flies ready? Very nice. What are we on here? Oh, we're good. We're good. Three moth and one stone. That's awesome. Have you should post a picture of them in Discord just so we can see what your flies look like. I still haven't really learned the functionality of a bolo rod. I don't know if I should reel or pull first. Trying to think, because I didn't really use. Oh, I love getting these spotted wolffish. I didn't really use bolo rods much in the I really got into that. I mean, I've used them before, but I really got into float fishing with match rods. Most of my float fishing before that had been on telesticks. But I think at Tunguska, when I've done my best is when I've just really been on it and used control right click to set the hook. I'm not sure that's necessary, but it feels like I lose less. You'll get the rhythm of it. The more you do it, the more you'll sort of see the window, the rhythm of not doing it too quick, but not waiting too long. But I think what I would do is like the thing that was working good for me was not keeping too much slack in there, so I could control right click it, set the hook, and then start reeling it in. Yeah, just you'll have to give it. Maybe sometime I'll go do it and we can kind of figure it out together. We'll see. All right, I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna take a short break, go tell my dad Happy Father's Day, and I'll be back shortly. Uh-oh. Good spot for koi on China map is 171. 212 casting the reeds, clips 15 from the beach area, ground bait, anise, ground corn, corn boilies. 3 trophies, carp and Shigura core. That's awesome. Nice info, Amar. And by the way, if anyone is actively playing this game, feel free to let myself or Amar know if you would like an active club to be a part of. Yeah, good question, Moy. Probably the Poor Beagle in some ways. Like, it's just, it's fun. And there's something about like seeing it come out of the water that, I don't know, it's just cool. And then when I saw how much XP and silver they're worth, that also add to it. Is the 80 hole active? I think so. I think people are actually doing pretty good at all 3 of these normal spots over here. Pollock? Yeah, Pollock are cool too. I definitely like Pollock better than haddock for some reason. I'm not sure if I could tell you why. I feel like they're about the same in terms of like how often you catch them, but what about you, Moy? What's your favorite fish? But see, like, I've never caught the swordfish. I've never caught the tuna. There's a lot that I haven't seen yet. There's several other ones I haven't either. I like those grandpa fish with like the whiskers on the bottom. Those are so weird looking. I bet swordfish is something coming out, Bomars. Good point. They look awesome. I can't wait to catch one. Gerteb, greetings. Welcome. I believe technically we are off the 85 or the 80, 75, whatever it is, but we're right here on the edge, so I still think we're going to catch something here. If I can just figure out how to get it perking. It's like all I can do is jig step. I think because it's like a slant or something, we're just getting different elevation as I turn. We're back up to 90. I think we're drifting back towards the 75. I don't know. It's so weird. Wait, where are you fishing right now, Scotty? At 183? I would honestly, is there another active spot on Amber? I would let it rest for an hour or two. I don't know how long you've been there, but I would fish somewhere else for an hour, a couple hours or something. Is 132 or Peg 1 or any of the other spots around where you are still pretty good? You've been here? Yeah, I mean, sometimes an hour and a spot slows down a little bit. Let it rest. The other thing you can do is you can just be patient and wait through it. Seems like at amber, a lot of times, if you're patient, it will come back. 132 is really dry. I haven't looked at amber recently, but if there's another spot that's even a little bit good, I would go check it out. But all right, so we're back over the 75. No excuse here for not getting a bite. We're finally perking again. We're over the bottom layer. Oh, really? So amber's not quite as healthy other than 183 right now? What about 169? Also, last time I was at amber, it seemed like the pond was starting to pick up. Hey, Grats on 25, Pula. I mean, you can definitely be patient through 83. And if you want to try relogging, I mean, I think that's fine. I don't personally know that that's going to do much, but it at least, you know, gives you a chance to reset, lets the spot rest a little bit. I don't know what 4132 is at amber. Interesting. Oof. All right. I think that's a sign. All right, let's think about this before we move. Let's say we go to 55 trying to find a porbeagle or a tuna. All right, so 23 size squid is what we want to have on. Maybe we at least do one green. And then what's porbeagle saying? So maybe go back to this pilker with 23 squid. So at least one purple squid, maybe two purple squid, and one green. Can I do two purple squid? I don't know if I have two purple squid, but let's look. All right, 80. I kind of want to keep this the same. Yeah, we could do this actually. I don't know how y'all are feeling about this, but we could do that up top. 23, 23. What'd we say? Purple and green? I should have one green, right? Yeah. All right, we're missing a second green, but we can do that. Purple and then purple. Yeah, I think this will work. I mean, I think it's fine. All right, here we go. It's the peg on the pond. Oh, okay, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Reticulated Spline says, any hints for lures trolling Cory? So to figure out Cory, at least for a starting point, I would look at the weekly for the Savan and the Cory char. So I would say it's always interesting when you see the Hornet on here. Hornets, you know, good bite rate, and if it's occasionally catching a Savan, might be worth trying that. It looks like the balsa minnow, which means if you don't have a balsa minnow, you could look into the cranks, the Dodger cranks. So to me, that looks like a place to start. Dodger cranks, and then take a gander at Cory char. So Dodger showing up again, and this was today. So these particular Dodger cranks look good. See balsa here. Always fun to see a big hunter lure though. Don't sleep on the Hunter Spoons. If you don't have Wobblers unlocked, try Hunter Spoons. They're always good. And there's a Spiker if you want to do spinners. But yeah, that's what I would get started with. I think looking at weeklies to figure out some colors and all that's a good way to start. Drizzt, it makes me think of Drizzt, who is the famous, what is it, y'all? If y'all are familiar with some D&D stuff, Drizzt is a drow elf. Is that what they call him? Drow elf. He's like a ranger with a some sort of cat companion. Yeah, dark elf. There we go. Is that what your name is after or no? Tortured by his family. Well, you know, we don't have to give that info into the Cliff Notes about Drizzt. Oh man. A Drizzt. I like it. That's cool. No, it is. He's a fascinating character. I like him and all his friends. I've actually read some of those books. They're not terrible. Who's the author, guys? Who's the Drizzt author? Salvatore? Is it Salvatore? I think it's Salvatore. Some of those, I think some of those are actually pretty good. Vankia25, thanks for the follow. R.A. Salvatore, something like that? Yeah, R.A. Salvatore, there you go. Maybe the early ones in the series, especially. I don't know. That series went on forever, probably a little too long, but they're very, this is not like deep writing. This is just fun adventures in D&D world. Beginning was very good. Yeah, I think so. I think its beginning was good. Wolfgar? Wolfgar? Is that right? What are some of the other... Like everything else gets repetitive? Yeah. What was the name of his significant other? What was her name? It's going to bother me now and we'll have to look it up. Wolfgar. Caddybury. Thank you. Yes. I'm watching your stream. I'm not in the stream chat. I think your line is wrong on your setup. What's wrong with it? Doesn't that look right, chat? Oh! Good call. So, yeah, just think about those COD that we were like right on the border of having to That kind of explains a lot, huh? That kind of explains a lot. Wow. Glad we hadn't found a porbeagle, halibut, or a tuna swordfish yet. That could have gotten messy. Hey, Trout Slayer, grats on level 20. What happened? I had 60 kilo line on. I'm supposed to have 205 kilo line on. Sounds good, Scotty. Yeah, just let it rest for a couple hours, or an hour even. It's about time, huh? About an hour from now? Is that when they're starting?
No, the leaders tee off in 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay, you good if I turn this off?
Uh-huh.
That's exciting, love.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like the Wild West out here, I think, at the 55. Probably be all over the place what we catch. I think the 75 might have been a little more consistent. I mean, we were getting on like certain fish species in certain spots up there. But I would just love to stumble onto a porbeagle or a tuna or a swordfish or something. Captain Furious, nice trophy gibble. All right, there's a haddock. Next time one of us goes down, no rush on this at all because I've still got this, but I might just go ahead and bring up my Polar Pop before it gets any water down or anything, you know.
You want me to go get it?
No. Because I've still got a little bit of this. I'm just trying to hopefully remember next time one of us gets up.
This guy that's hitting it right now,
Mhm.
he's the one that lost last week on that 4th hole playoff.
Oh, he's really playing good right now then.
He's shooting at 8 under today.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
This is, I mean, he started today in the plus,
What?
and he's shooting 8 under 314.
What do you think you'd have to get to even have a chance?
He has to, I mean,
Like 12, 13, something like that?
which
And then,
I mean, he's only got 4 holes left.
yeah,
So you have to like eagle the rest of the holes.
yeah.
But I mean, he's gonna finish much higher than he would have.
You know what, Drizzit? It's probably not a coincidence. And so maybe like starting about 4:30 a.m. or something, maybe that's what I should do. I'm at 55. Maybe I should just go to 30 and just perk it and see if we can get lucky. Should I have a leader on when I'm float fishing for like days? You don't have to. I mean, you might get a little better result with a smaller diameter line and fluorocarbon material, but I don't think it's necessary. Slow overnight, it looks like. Yeah. You just want to be able to handle that occasional like 500 gram roach that's going to surprise you, you know, or whatever. That cookie was good. What did you make those for? Something in particular? Okay.
I know you don't really like cookies.
What? When you make them, I do. Although I've had a lot of sweets lately. To me, Hubble, the most important question to answer to determine that is the rod and reel you're using. Obviously, it's got to be underneath your rod. And like if you have the Caliber HSV, for example, some people still go the full 30 or whatever. I would do more like 21. Just depends on how aggressive you want to be on locking the reel with carp fishing. But you got to make sure, I mean, to me, matching it up to your rod and reel is the most important step. How are we getting this slow a bite rate right now? Just overnight? But for big carp setups, most people do use 31 kilo, you know, leader, lead core, whatever, all that. Yeah, you're going to get some, I think you'll probably get people telling you different answers to that. Again, it just depends on if you want to base it off the total mech weight of the HSV, or if you want to base it more closely to the actual drag that the HSV is capable of. I would probably start with like having like 21 or so, 22, kind of seeing how that feels, how that goes. You have a lot of line on your spool. So if you do hook into a trophy or something, it's just a matter of letting it tire out. But I think some people would probably put much heavier line than that and get really aggressive with locking it up and stuff. That's just not the way I've done carp fishing. I don't know. I don't think dace are active at night. I think dace are early morning, kind of daytime sort of thing. Man, that took a while. Yep, that was a long, painful process. We should probably move, but I also want to try the 30 meter trick. It's getting close to time. You can change the rig type, right? Right, Scotty? Or not? Ooh, nice fish. Worth it, huh? Alright, so let's go again. And let's just stop it at 30 and see if we can get lucky here. Quantum. Thanks, Drizzt. Just want to see a swordfish. Do you remember what time of day? I don't know if I've heard people talk about time of day for swordfish, but I would just imagine early morning would be the way to go. And to get the tuna, we need to go to the bottom, I think. But for swordfish, it's more likely a little more shallow, or even like as it's dropping or as you're reeling it in. Okay. See, it might not be till more like 5:36 or something. Why isn't caps lock working right now? There we go. You got a 1.6 eyed when you're going for tiny. I mean, the one nice thing about Bolo is you can let it tire out. Alright, if you keep going asking about rod and reels, you've done it twice. If you ask again, I'm just going to put you on ignore. I've told you I'm not going to send you free stuff. I've told you that twice now. Don't strike out. Does that qualify as a third time, chat? That's actually a funny clarification. So they've asked for a rod and reel twice. I've said no both times, and they said why, and then they said, could it be just one? In other words, like just the rod or the reel. It looks kind of dark. Okay, interesting. So do you know the cheap way to do it, Shrimp? The cheap and fast way? If you look on exactly what Captain Furia said, if you look on Blunty's Excel sheet, which if y'all don't have that bookmarked, if you just type in rf4.fish, it should take you to the Excel sheet. But it kind of breaks it down. But basically early on you're just doing crackers. So you literally just make tons of ground bait with just crackers. But eventually you want to switch to feed, and then whatever the cheapest attractant you most recently unlocked is. So like if I had just unlocked freshly cut grass and it was the cheapest attractant I had unlocked recently, then I would just make this. And that's because feed is the cheapest base, but you have to have a base to make ground bait. and then you're using the least expensive new attractant you've unlocked. And so that way you're getting those points for as cheap as possible. Yes, spreadsheet gives it line by line, really helpful. Yep, great. Yeah, check that out. All right, we're gonna do this till 8 a.m. Maybe 8:15, something like that. If we don't have anything by then we'll switch to back to the bottom, and then maybe try this again in the evening, late afternoon, early evening. I just don't know if there's certain times swordfish are active. Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're aggressively trying to level up ground bait, bait harvesting, bottom fishing, marine fishing, whatever, if you can afford doing premium for the weekend or for a few days, totally worth it. Okay, what are you fishing with, Ranix? Maybe I'll go there then. That's what I want to find. I want to find those poor beagles and those spoolers. Oh, it would have been noon. Okay. Okay, cool. Ooh, nice whiting, Ronaldo. 235 and squids. Do you know what size squids you're using? Maybe I just go down there and use this same setup. Because I may have bigger squids and lure than you're using. But if they're active, hopefully, even if it's a slower bite rate, it just means I'll find the... hopefully the larger ones. 23 size, okay. So you just have a smaller lure on, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I would just use my same setup. I'm okay with having the slower bite rate. Pilker rod, yeah. Yeah, that's great, Scotty. That is awesome. Alright, again, we're just going to do this a little bit longer, then we'll drop it down to the bottom. That's right. I'm okay with being slow, I'm not okay with being nothing. Ooh. Squid? Question mark? That's going to probably happen a good bit, actually. Can never escape the safe. So about 11 minutes left. In fact, after I catch this next fish, I'll go get my puller pop and invite him.
Perfect.
All right, that's 8:15. Let's go down the bottom, see if we can catch anything good here real quick before we think about going down to 80 and test out the poor beagle at 80. Poor beagle. Man, we are right in the middle of 55. This is the spot right here. I can feel it. Come on. I actually leave it open if there's a current. At least that's what I used to do. Leave it open, and then when I get the bite, close it and then pull it to set the hook. It's kind of a tricky little dance. Definitely some muscle memory there that you kind of develop. It's cool though. When it works, it works. Doesn't always work, but... Ooh, what do we got? What do we got here, chat? Not exciting. Not as exciting as I hoped for. Let's see. Why would they say you should close it? I don't know. I don't know, actually. Okay. I mean, test both ways. See what you think feels best to you. All right. While it's sinking here, chat, I'm gonna go get my drink from downstairs, but I'll be right back. We're just gonna let this sink. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good point, chat. That what reticulated splines is saying, that's how I would think about it too. If it's moving water, I would keep it open. And if it's still water, I would close it. I'm drinking a lot of water, so we may have some bio breaks, but they'll be quick. No worries. Ooh, another cafe order hake. Where are we right now? What are we doing? Are we staying? Or do we want to go try 55? I think right now my curiosity is so like curious, not 55, 80. I'm so curious about 80 that I just want to go down there and try it. Yeah, Bolo's interesting. I think Match Rod, like I probably would have enjoyed Bolo more if I'd given it a chance, but I had so much fun once I got into using Match Rods. It's just a blast. Big Man, thanks for the follow. Alright, I know it took me a long time, but we're going to finally look at Grimm's all region weekly common scaly albino carp. Whoa! Number uno, 2520. That is awesome. That is awesome. Grats on that beauty. Welcome to RF4. Have fun, ask lots of questions. If you want to join a community chat, I don't even know what a wand is. But in case I haven't made it clear, this is your last warning. I do not send out free stuff. If you want to join an in-game community chat, you can search for My Dogs, MY space DAWGS. There's also plenty of other community chats, but just to let you know, we have one here. You can join my Discord and get spots. Just be a part of the community. I would definitely bookmark this spreadsheet. Go ahead and save this spreadsheet as a bookmark for you, because there are so many helpful resources. You don't want to try to take them all in one day, but as you get time and want to look around at different things, the main resource on there, and I'll show you on my screen, is going to specific areas on VK. So let's say you're fishing at Winding Rivulet. You can click on this and it will actually take you to the VK site, specifically showing you spots that are working on Winding Rivulet. You can right click and translate to English if you so desire. But that is a good way to get information on spots. But there's so much to explore and enjoy about the game. Like someone just told you, there's no rush. Just try to enjoy the experience. There's way more to learn about the game than you can in, you know, your first few sessions. So it's really a very slow, grindy game. And you'll figure out soon enough if that is something you enjoy or something that's frustrating. I do have a lot of leveling guides over on YouTube, which at times can be helpful maybe. But welcome to RF4. Mostly that's the important thing. Yep. All right. What can we stumble into here, chat? I want to find something big and scary. Oh, Scotty, bleak are great. And you can ask any questions, big man. Any questions. As you have questions, feel free to ask them. We've all been where you are now. What is the fastest way to make money? So, yeah, it is the fishing itself. When you're, welcome in. That's awesome. You're from Finland. When you're first starting out, especially, I would say one of your best methods is going to be to fulfill cafe orders, because it will both give you much more silver than the fish would have sold for, plus it will slowly start to help you learn how to target specific fish when you need them for the cafe order. So you just end up learning a lot just by doing that. Does that make sense? So like you go look what the cafe order is. Maybe at Mosquito it says there. Maybe you notice there's 2 different cafe orders for rough. So you look at the weeklies at Mosquito, or the weeklies, and then you also look on Mosquito itself, and you figure out, okay, what are rough biting on? Well, it looks like redworm, caddisfly, and maybe you watch a video and you learn that, oh, but they also bite on regular worm and bloodworm, and so you try out some different baits and you figure out, oh, rough are mostly active at night, and I need to be using a feeder rod because they're on the bottom, or I need to be float fishing but with my bait actually sitting on the bottom. And you learn how to catch rough so you can fill those cafe orders. That kind of stuff will be really helpful for you. And again, there's just a lot to learn. You'll get there if you want to, but that's where a lot of the community resources and stuff can just be really helpful. And then you start to internalize a lot of that information yourself, and then you can kind of go off of that and start figuring stuff out on your own as well. Yeah, I agree, Scotty. Bleak are great silver. That's why on my last 2 leveling guide series, I've started off doing the dual account fishing, and then I end it on the salty M-Dog account and just go fish for bleak for a few minutes. Because they're really good silver, and they also early on help you level up float fishing so quickly. Yes, I do have premium. I'm not gonna... I know where this is going. I know where this conversation is going. I'm not even gonna continue right now. Yes, the answer to your question is I do have premium. No, I'm not sending you anything. What was that community chat? Yeah, it's just something where, like, it's you can either, so when you're in the game, by default, you're sitting in a chat room with people who are fishing around you in the same spot. So you may want to stay in that chat, but sometimes that can be pretty lonely at low levels unless there's other people that are also fishing at the same time. And so some people decide to join a community chat. The one that I have is called My Dogs. So if you search for My Dogs, when it comes up for select a channel, it'll come up with the owner is M-Dog. And you can click and anybody can join that. And then you can be talking with people in this chat room, seeing trophies that they're catching, that kind of thing. Certainly not something you have to do, just an optional way to connect with some people. Welcome back, Siobhan. But actually, like, Bleak at the Pond at Winding has been crazy good lately. Mostly on... Well, everything was kind of working, but I was mainly using Bloodworm. And the Bleak were just awesome there. Sounds good, Scotty. Ooh, hey! Decent? Maybe? Not that decent. Once I got it off the bottom, well, it's strong enough to not want to come up normally. I do have to gear down. Oh, here's the next. So, big man, here's the next very important tip. Now that you're in our chat, there's a lot of people in our chat. Sometimes people are rude or just annoying. If you ever have someone like, let's say, I'm going to pick on you because obviously you know I don't mean this, but let's say you were somebody that was like, I don't know, saying rude stuff or whatever. I can just click on your name and then click on this microphone with a line through it, and then I'll never see your chat again unless I take you off of blacklist. So if you ever see somebody that's either being mean to you or you don't appreciate the way that they're treating other people or things they're talking about, just put them on your blacklist so you don't have to see them at all, and then just continue on enjoying the game. Yeah, it'd be cool if this is a nice wolf. Or a baby swordfish. Ooh. Okay. You made a midge fly for trouts and chubs. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I didn't know this until I went back and was like highlighting the stream to figure out what I was going to put on YouTube, but this was from probably like a week ago or something. At some point I had like turned my camera off and I didn't realize I went like 2 hours without having the camera on. It's probably the best part of the stream. But I didn't realize that that was happening. You can also report to admins. Yeah. If someone's being offensive or racist or bullying someone, just report them. And then they'll get banned out of the game so we don't have to deal with that. But if it's just annoying you, or if it's not really crossing a line but you just rather not see it, just blacklist them. You talking about for the weekly? So if you hit escape and go to records and ratings, and then you can click weekly and find the type of fish. There's some other stuff going on too, like you can look by ultralight, telescopic, see only. You can also break it down to different regions, but that'll at least get you going to see like some of the baits or lures that type of fish is going for that week. No problem. All right, guys, we've almost got this mysterious fish up to the surface. It's way too small to be a halibut, right? I mean, I guess it could always be a small halibut. But it feels like, or it seems like it's something else, although it's kind of been dead weight, which typically means it's less exciting than we want it to be. Yeah, that's right. Being from Finland, you're in other region. Good information, Dritz. Drizzt. I always say Dritz now. All right, let's see what this is. Oh, it is halibut. Maybe it'll be Greenland? It's not Greenland. Hey, you can unplug my...
I just moved the plug.
Well, I don't even need it plugged in.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, but the good news about that, I mean, not that I want to catch halibut, like there's other things I'd rather catch, but if there's nothing else that's biting, maybe we get a big old halibut. That'd be cool. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Scotty. Well, I hope you find a more peaceful existence in our chat, but I'd almost guarantee you that you're going to have to blacklist some people in this chat as well if you don't want to put up with nonsense, but we'll see. Thank you for introducing yourself in chat, though, Zappy, or Scotty. All right, we're just on the edge. On the edge again. Let's catch something special out here on the edge. Sometimes the edge is right where you want to be, chat. Living on the edge, as Aerosmith once said. Casimir is going good. How are you doing? Sorry I didn't acknowledge your arrival in chat. Anything nice? Well, we started off way up in 75, and it was consistently good up there, but I really just wanted to catch bigger stuff, so we've continuously moved farther and farther south, down here to the 55, in search of a big fish. I would think Trophy Bleak would be fairly easy right now in the pond at Winding. I would think that would be a pretty easy thing to do, but I could be wrong. Zerk, nice trophy sleeper. I don't think so, Scotty. If you blacklist someone, you're not reporting them for anything. You're just saying, I don't want to see this person's chat. And people are supposed to be speaking, just so you know, big man, by the way. I know it looks like you and Gatet have been enjoying, but for the most part, people should be speaking English in this chat. For the most part. It's okay to say hello or whatever, but, you know, for the most part, we want to keep it English because this is an English-speaking server/chat room. Let's try it one more time on the edge before we move. So, like, when we first started up at 75, we got off the cusk and we started catching some nice spotted wolffish, spiny dogfish, whiting, more spiny dogfish, more wolffish, 3 cod in a row. And then I just started wanting to catch bigger fish, so we started moving. We probably should have stayed at 75. It was actually pretty good. I don't know. It just seemed like it'd be a fun time to try to find a big boy, though. Ooh, that's always fun. Char on Ladoga. That's a good time. Grats on level 8, big man. You caught so many bleak at winding. I don't feel like that happens on this big setup very often. Fish got away like that? I don't remember the last time I had a fish got away. Yo, Rainix, thanks for the follow. Hope you sleep well. Thanks for hanging out. Is that right on the drop? Yeah, I mean when I was using the small setup going for mackerel and stuff like that, of course I would have FGAs all the time, but since switching to this big boy setup with the big lures and everything, I just feel like it happens so much less. Yes. That is true. Well, there's so many fish at this point. So many, so much to keep up with trophy sizes and gear information, map information. But the funny thing is, sometimes we talk about spreadsheet fishing, and that's, at least in my mind, that's kind of used as a negative, because some games are not, they are more, are they more or less static? I'm trying to remember if I'm using that correctly. Anyway, they change less. So you pretty much always can know if I use this and this and this is the weather at this spot, I'm going to catch it. You know what I mean? Okay, less change, more static. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Still saving for the big boy stuff, so sounds good. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like the quality of the lures and everything, or the size of the fish, they're just less likely to get away. I don't know what it is, but the small stuff happens all the time for me. The big stuff, rarely do they FGA. Small. Oh yeah, You're definitely on medium. Medium to medium large. What do you mean, big man? What full wipe are you talking about? Sounds good, Scotty. Thanks for the lurk. Oh, server restarts happen a lot in this game. Yeah, yeah, it happens pretty frequently. If it's that quick, really all it will be is a server restart. They're probably not adding anything or changing anything. Oh, no, 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 no. There has not been a reset in progress or any of that stuff since they came out with English servers and all that. They haven't wiped character progress. They may have done that in the very beginning, in like alpha stage, like long before English server, but they haven't done that since I've been playing. It would actually, I think, be impossible to do that at this point. Not impossible. It would be really rough to do that at this point. And there'd be a lot to figure out if they had to do that for some reason. Like, are you refunding all that gold? How are you... I mean, I don't know. It'd be a mess. Technically, they could do that. I think they would just lose so much of their player base, at least for a while. A lot of people would come back, potentially, but... Oof, it'd be rough. That would be a rough day. That would be it for you guys. Dritz and Fishing Dutch is like, I'd be out. I would be out. Yeah, it is grindy enough. That's so true. So true. Knowing what you know now, and if they refunded all the gold and stuff like that, honestly, you would, if you decided to do it again, you would get there a lot quicker the next time, but still, it still would be devastating, and they would lose a lot of players, I think. I've always thought it'd be interesting, though, if they had some kind of like seasonal content. I don't know how they would do it, but you know, maybe you could unlock cosmetics and stuff by participating in the season that then would go over to your main account or something. No way, that's awesome, Rainix. Well, I'm hoping for the best down here. Was there a specific part of 80 that you were fishing in? Or have you just been kind of drifting around? Around the center? Okay. You know, this could be a nice, small, like, tuna or swordfish. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's got a little chunk to it, and it's also it's at least not acting like a halibut, or it didn't start off like a halibut. Oh, absolutely. It's got to be optional. I totally agree with that. Thematically, do different things per season. I think you would probably need to, like, if the leveling structure still works the way it does normally, then it might need to be like turned up a little bit for the season. Um, I don't know. I just think there's some cool stuff, but there'd have to be whatever progress you make during the season. There would have to be like tangible things that you bring back with you to your regular account, right? I don't know. I don't know how to think about all of it. I think you could just come up with some pretty cool stuff, though. Again, it would be another creative way to breathe a lot of new life into the game and to get like a slightly wider audience, maybe maintaining interest in the game over time. Um, well, just on this account, actually, let me get this fish in. I don't think it's going to do anything crazy, but just in case. Easty, nice trophy crucian. It's almost like in the season you would want to be playing your main account, but it's a lot of players aren't going to be interested in it if you don't actually benefit from the progress you're making. So again, I'm just not sure how to do all of the best way to tweak it there, but I just think there's some potential. I mean, I know some people would hate this, but I think you could apply some of the concepts from a battle pass to the season that you do in RF4. And you could have free tiers and you could have a pay tier. If you're premium, or if you want to be premium during that season, you could have even better rewards. You'd have to give some rewards for free players to keep the interest up and to make it worthwhile. But you could have two tiers. I mean, again, I just think it could be a revenue source. All of the premium stuff would have to be cosmetic only, or you'll drive people away. But I don't know. I just think there's a lot of room there for revenue, but also for fun. I've probably missed a lot in chat. Sorry, I just trying to make sure we don't do something stupid with this fish. I'm sorry, love.
Literally lipped the hole.
Is that just a cod? That's just a really nice cod. Hey, I'll take that. Really not what I was expecting, but I'll take that. Okay. Seasonal would be pretty cool. Oh yeah, I already read that. Hold on. Poor Beagle Tuna and Opa. My poor being. Yeah, I bet so. How many hours do I have on record? On this main account, it is 4039. Yeah, I would think so, Blunty. I would like that. If the money you make during the season, silver-wise, comes back to your main account, or the equipment that you buy, or whatever, that's what I'm saying. If it's not tangibly going to benefit your main account, why do it? It's not worth it. That has to be like the cornerstone of it. Yeah, but I think those are seasons also work when there's with any game. Like if you think about Fortnite, that kind of stuff, when there's like a level, right? You're trying to hit a certain level to get rewards during that seasonal time. Yes, No Man's Sky Expedition system is actually a great example because sometimes they tweak the rules of how things work during that expedition season. That's true, Gravy. That's true. Yep, that's good point, Gravy. It'd be really helpful to have all that just in game. All right, I'm gonna let it start sinking in and go take a quick bio break. I'll be right back. Let's see, are we still over? Yeah, we're good. We're right dead in the center. I like it. I'll be right back. Yeah, that's a good point, Noel. To me, the benefit of seasons is creating an artificial way for players that have been playing this game for a long time to start over temporarily, basically, because of the benefits, the things they can gain during that, maybe a season in RF4 lasts 2 to 3 months or whatever. And they can choose, do they want to participate in the season starting at level 1, with specific season goals or whatever as they level and bring over those benefits back to their main account? Or do they just want to log into the regular server? I don't know, something like that. It may not be the best idea. I mean, I think it would have to be optional. I think for some people, it would be so cool, so fun. Some people would absolutely not be interested at all. So, I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I guess it depends on like how crazy you're getting with the seasonal stuff. I mean, I'm really thinking more just like, you know, just different focuses of a season, specific rewards, like cosmetic rewards, skins and such, where if a new player happened to start and a season was going on and that's how they started, the only the difference mostly would be that they were leveling up within the context of that season, and so they were, you know, unlocking certain skins or doing whatever that they wouldn't have unlocked if they hadn't have started in that particular season. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Noel. You know, I've been surprised at, because I've often said, like, it'd be cool if they had parties in RF4, but it's not that big a deal. But I have to admit, recently I've been playing Fisher Online off stream, and they have that now. So, you know, if I'm in a party with a couple of people, I can see them. I can see their character sitting there in their chair fishing, you know? It actually is pretty cool. I think at times it's just been so kind of annoying and ridiculous the way it happens in Fishing Planet that I was like, well, I don't want that. But if it's small groups of like 2 or 3 or 5 people or whatever, it actually is pretty cool. Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, that is a good point, Big Drock. That is a very good point. A little spiny. Actually, let's just move. I mean, we're just like right here on the edge. I think this is probably overall a very unpopular idea. It would be fun for me and my tastes, but the sense I get that a lot of the player base, as even including the people that make the game, probably wouldn't like this idea very much. Yeah. And that is true. Again, for me, that it just interests me way less of just like having a cash shop with cool looking skins or whatever. If it's not tied to progression and, you know, like thematically tied to certain things, I think I would just have a lot less interest in it, but that's just me. Like, I agree with you. I think they would make just as much money, if not more, just kind of doing what you're describing. And I'm sure that's coming, I would imagine. Yeah. Well, no, you're right, Casimir. I mean, if we're talking about skins in terms of clothing and stuff like that, then yeah. But I don't know. Opposite side of 83. Is that peg 1, Dan? Yeah. I think, you would get $10 from a lot of people to get a whatever, green, blue raincoat, whatever. That's sad but true. Yeah, they did. They did because of the problems with seeing the tension bar. I think I think Casimir is right though. People are a lot less willing to spend real money on skins if there's no sense in which you can like fish with other people in there and people are seeing your skin. I mean, it's one thing for you to be able to be like, "Oh yeah, I wrapped a cool skin around this fishing rod." But if you actually can see, you're in a small group of 5 people, you're all fishing together and you can see what their fishing rod looks like, that's a little more meaningful. Man, we've already drifted back down to almost the exact same spot. Not quite, but close. uh... Oh, man. And those are just like themed different looks that came with different DLC. Isn't that mostly how Fishing Planet has historically done it? Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of like lures and different things that you only get at certain events, right? I guess RF4 has done that a little bit with the like Christmas event. Like they've started to find ways to do that, but it's not very much yet. All right, Scotty. Thank you. Have a good night. Yeah, I guess I did start late today compared to what I've been doing. Tomorrow I'll be back to an earlier stream. Ooh, nice spiny. That's a new personal best. I don't know what trophy is, but 6.1 is very nice. Pretty sure that's personal best. We looked at this earlier, right? Wasn't it like 4 something? Yeah. That is good XP, good silver. I should have done this years ago, chat. Moving the moving reeling to a keyboard bind. Oh my goodness. Yours has been V. Interesting. So Shift V, is that pretty comfortable? Then I could keep my hand in the same spot. Yeah, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that big drock. So right now I'm using like backspace or something, or front space. I don't know which one it is. Right next to the right shift key. Hey, it's a wolfie. It's a nice wolf. That is a nice wolf. We're catching some really nice fish all of a sudden. Hope this continues. Wait. What is acceleration? Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. My thumb and my pinky sit very naturally between shift and V. Just see how it feels to like compress those two at the same time. I'm gonna see on this next one. Gotcha, big truck. What? Wait, what's... What is number 0? Num 0? Do you literally mean... What button is that? What key is that? 3.5 Poor Beagle. Anybody got smaller than that? I don't know that I have gotten a smaller one than that. Oh, numpad 0. Gotcha. Does that work? All right, let's try V. This might be a nice fish. This might take a little while to get out of the water. What the heck is going on? Maybe I shouldn't be trying new keybinds on an actual tough fish. Royal Birhat, thanks for the follow. All right, I'm gonna have to try this. I also put control space on my mouse to switch ratio so I don't have to take my hand off V. Wait, what could I put that on my mouse? What button? Like 9 or something? 9 isn't used in this game, right? That would be cool to have that on. Okay, I gotta try this number. So is your number lock on or off when you do that, by the way? Does number lock need to be on for it to work? All right, I'm trying that next fish. I'm also gonna try putting control. Okay. I'm also going to try putting control space on 9 on my mouse. I don't think we ever hit the number 9 in this game. Wait, how did Leo Tolstoy come up? Oh. How long do you have to be in a certain location? Do I have that achievement? Leo Tolstoy. That's funny that that's what they call it. Why didn't they call it Dostoevsky? Could have been Fyodor Dostoevsky just as easily as Leo Tolstoy. Come on, RF4.
I'm about to run downstairs.
Alright, this might be a weird question, but Tilted, how do you stop reeling once you've done this? What's the fastest way to stop reeling when you've started this space? Oh, by pressing it again. Okay. Just a short tap. Okay. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, if this is a halibut, it's a halibut. If it's not a halibut, then I'm really curious. What is this? Oh, is that right, Big Drock? What are the terms? Where are the terms of service? We need to look this up. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm feeling like. I mean, you're not using anything outside of game. You're just, it allows you to keybind it to that key. I don't see how that could actually be a problem. That would feel like pretty light ground to stand on. Ooh, 14's trophy? Daggum. Nice turbot, though. I don't think I've ever gotten anywhere close to that on turbot, actually. What does this mean? Items in hand details? Where's the thing for, where's the thing for changing your control space? Looking at your current setup? Oh, that's what V is. What's up, Reaper? That's what V used to be. Oh shoot, that's gonna take some getting used to. Holy cow. Time to relax. Nice. So, Big Drock, where control space? How do you put that on your mouse? It's not even one of the things, right? Is that something you actually have to do with your mouse, I'm guessing? Alright, are we still in the... Yeah, we're good. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's just a bunch of orders. The cafe just has a bunch of orders they rotate through. Blunty, you want to go to that, do you know that back corner? I mean, you probably can other spots too, but I catch tons of Chinese sleepers in that back corner. If you know the one I'm talking about. You can fast travel to it. And then just 35 retrieval jigging. Okay, sounds good, Tilted. Ooh, nice. As long as you're not macroing. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I caught tons of Chinese sleepers back there, just kind of casting and jigging it through the shallow areas. I feel like there was another species that I would occasionally catch, but like 90% sleepers. This was daytime, by the way. Probably just another halibut, huh? Yeah, he's actually talking about in Fisher Online for the Chinese sleepers. That's cool though. Wacky Rig at Old Berg used to catch sleepers. I don't know that I've ever done that. I don't remember doing that at least. That's really cool. Time to get back to place fishing. Oh yeah. Maybe the jig head size. Yeah, I bet I'm using a tiny one, Blunty. It's definitely fishing on my Trout Master spinning rod, which is using a pretty light test, so it might be that. I'd say that is possible. This is another halibut, folks. Is that right? That's awesome. You like catching them on lurkers or what? How you targeting place? Oh, really? Cool. Okay, that's awesome. Good thinking there. Oh, that's cool, Reaper. That's really cool. Nice Atlantic mackerel potato. Nice fish. I bet this could be another like 50 kilo halibut right here. £100 of halibut coming right up. Or 60 pounds. 2 in a row. We have found them. Found them. All right, I'll be right back. keep thinking we're going to catch a non-halibut, but might just be a halibut day down here. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but I really feel like so often the bite happens when I pause. If you've gotten that perking going for a couple minutes and you're not getting a bite, like just kind of move it around manually and pause. A lot of times it feels like that's when something hits it. Yeah. Even if the perking falls off, that's okay. Like, it's worth it every once in a while just to test it to see if 78.2, that was a lucky dogfish. Small but very lucky. We need to make sure this doesn't get confused and thinking it's time to turn on. You get bites when you tab out for a second? Yeah, exactly. Oh, perking definitely helps, but it also seems like if you can also be like overactive with it too. Is that meters? Is that how deep you're fishing right now? Let's see, what do we think this is going to be? It hit it on the drop. It's probably a little bigger than mackerel. Maybe saithe, just a saithe probably. Wow, you were fishing deep. Oh! Guys, I know it's a tiny one, but that's first one ever. First one ever. That is a tiny one though. What did that go for? In 2307? So that's one of the purple ones. It's a start? Yeah. Well, it's another fish species that I had never caught before. I mean, there's several on this map I still haven't ever caught. Try some purple stuff. Ooh, it's gonna really mess me up having the V. I mean, I've just got to get used to it. The main reason why I incorporated the purple stuff was the purple stuff is showing up on the porbeagle and the swordfish's weeklies. So it's just trying to like encourage that small chance. Your Vinga won't like you, huh? Safe preventing you from getting to bottom. You know, we did really well a few days ago when I was fishing, like, where was that, 120? Or no, 180 maybe. We were doing 180, weren't we? And that was pretty good. 212, by the way. Are you doing like 215 or something? Holy camoles. Hey, catching marker whitings, it's not a bad life. 215, huh? Maybe I should try it. Oh, they're not markers? Okay. It's funny, like non-marker whitings are still more XP than some fish, you know? Oof. Blue whiting, that is a rough life, actually. Yeah, we're on the small stuff right now. Off the halibut on the small stuff. Yo, what's up, Iron? Welcome back. Can't make it past 35 meter. I mean, at least you're getting fast bite rate. Chance of leveling up marine fishing, I guess. Although lower quality fish, that kind of works against you. Hey, at least it's marker. Fishing's been good. I mean, we're just catching a nice variety of stuff. Went on a cod run, some decent spinies, both Atlantic and spotted wolffish, and my first Opa ever, although it's tiny. And then, as we've tried to find some big fish, we've only found halibut so far. Right now, we're down in the 80. You got spooled in the 55? Really? I hung out in the 55 for a while. I just couldn't find anything big. I actually ran into the halibut here. Maybe I just was unlucky. Maybe if I would have been more patient in 55, I could have found a poor beagle or something eventually. You're using a fillet rig, so what, probably halibut? I mean, I don't know. I guess it could have been something else, but... Yo, Mitchell. Congrats on trophy lake trout there. Oh, wow. That's been a long fight. Spiny. That's nice little spiny. 22k XP. Why is that, Reaper? Ooh, yeah, that turned into a trophy lake trout for you. That's awesome. Was that on the Dodger or what? I totally forgot. Yeah, does trolling for tuna seem to work in this game or not? Really? On the spiker? Wow. That's awesome. I haven't mastered the art of trolling here yet. But maybe that would be good. I don't know. That was the only lure you had. Are you just trolling with one rod in? Okay. I mean, that worked out for you. Typically, I would say you really want that second rod in the water to make trolling worth it, but I mean, heck, you're making it work, so who am I to say that? Alright, well, we tried. Gotta give it a try every once in a while. Saving up for that at the moment? Cool. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Probably not as fun as I first hoped. It was on the drop though, which always gives me hope that it could be something cool. This one might just be a safe, I don't know. Last time it was on the drop, it was the opal though. You went trolling with one rod as soon as you could. You couldn't stand doing bream more than you absolutely had to. Gotcha. Oh, I love bream fishing. But I will agree that variety is nice. I don't want to do any kind of fishing constantly, except for maybe with the exception of carp fishing. I could probably do that most of the time and be pretty okay with it. But that's because I just really dig all of the variety, messing with different PVAs and setups and spots and. But even that, like, it's just nice to have variety, right? Oh, guys, there's a first time for everything. I was wondering because it hit on the drop and the way it was like bouncing around. Wow, how about catching two really tiny rare species on the same at the same spot? You know? And we were sitting there, I was like, had it perking at 30 meters forever trying to find that thing. And then as soon as I let it drop, it hit it like at 50. Let's see if we can find one more. Probably not. Like, this is going to be the difference in catching one at 10 o'clock versus after midnight now. But let's see what we can do here. Yours was at noon, mine was at midnight, yeah. Who knows on the swordfish? That's cool though. Alright, so we knock another species off the list. 2 species off the list. So now we haven't caught tuna and I think a few more on the map. Couple more on the map. But we're getting there now, huh? Geeky. Thanks for the follow. This is not a swordfish of any size. Well, it is doing weird things, actually. Oh, we had it locked up. I didn't realize that. Huh. Well, I don't know what this is then. It may be, actually. Another small swordfish. I mean, look how this thing is. It's a small something weird. Could we go back to back on small swordfish? That's a negatory. Look at you calling the cusk Cassavir. Ugh. It was just the perfect size to rattle our noodle here. Swordfish and an Opa in the same spot. It's crazy. Meathorn, thanks for the follow. You haven't caught a cusk in the last 20 fishes. Game couldn't resist. Yeah. Plus the time of day, right? Either no bite or cusk bite. There's no way Amber's... Yeah, back-to-back cusk? Yeah, probably so, Cassavir. I mean, it's 2:20 in the morning. Fishing at the bottom. It's probably the only really option, right? Although this one's not making our rod tip go crazy like the last one was. Hey! Love to see it. Love to see it. Oh, so good. Alright. One more fish, chat, then we're going to go sell fish and see how we did. Love to see. I mean, the spiny dogfish have been so good to us today. So, who is this Dan person? I don't feel like I've seen you around before, Dan. Level 31. So you've been to Norway. You've actually caught a wait, that's not trophy, is it? Red Starvis carp. Maybe that is trophy. You've caught a trophy rare carpet amber. Almost 30 kilo leather at Bear. You've got at least a Fortuna caliber, maybe more. 104 trophies. You've caught a blue tag. It's just weird. Like, I know people are catching good fish at Amber. Amber may not be on fire. It may not be the best it's ever been. But we've got rare trophies, other trophies, lots of silver being made at 83. And you're sitting here in chat saying that the devs need to turn the fish back on at Amber. Like, over and over. It just kind of gets old. You know? Spinies are always welcome. Agreed. I will always take spiny. Here comes the cod. Whoa. Calling it beforehand? Alright, we might have to do one more fish after this. That's a little small, and it was pretty quick. Might be another spiny. Yeah, it is another spiny. It's small, but it's the right species. Don't mind that at all. Yo, welcome to the stream, Meathorn. Are you saying that you've actually made a trip out here already, even as a new player, or you're saying you want to make a trip or look forward to being out here? Oh, it's the first thing you did in the game. Gotcha. And you had fun, and now you're like back to the beginning, the basics. Yeah, I can see how that could be a rough transition. Level 34 is a long way away, right? I mean, I guess you can take a couple more trips, but ultimately, level 34 and being able to afford the gear to fish out here is a long way away. Yeah, you are just grinding it out at this point, huh? That's right. The gear is expensive. I feel like I was too harsh on Dan. Sorry, Dan, if I was harsh. I know it's frustrating when you're used to a certain bite rate at a place and then it suddenly changes. This, on the other hand, if it's a spiny, is a much better one. Let's see if we can reel it in regularly. Yeah, I think so. This be a decent little spiny if it's a spiny, but who knows. Still not a big fish, so you do want it to be something like a spiny. Oh, are you serious? You're from a small fishing island in the middle of the Norwegian Sea. That's amazing. How crazy is it that this game came out with a map literally like involving the sea all around the place that you're from? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I hear you. It is tempting. I mean, it's a lot of money, obviously, but I mean, I don't know. It completely changes your experience of the game if you decide to spend that on it. That is a game changer. Is that a... What is that? Oh, it's a cusk. Hey, that's my favorite kind of cusk. The one that gives us marine fishing. So what level were you when you bought the map, Royal? What gear did you have to start off with, I guess is the other question. While you're answering that, I'm going to respawn real quick. Be right back. All right, so you were level 24. You were like, okay, I see how grindy this is. I'm 10 levels away from Norway. I want to do sea fishing. I feel that. Yeah, that's the thing, Meathorn, is that Norway is the new shiny thing, and it's a lot of fun. And, you know, like streamers, content creators, or a lot of people are going to be fishing here because it's the new thing, right? And if you've been playing the game for a long time, the new thing breathes a lot of new fresh air in the game. However, there's no way around that. There's a ton of stuff in this game that, there's a ton of fun fishing to be had in this game. Yeah, so these cafe orders are a little weird, huh? Trophy sculpin, mussel scallop. How about that blue whiting? I don't know if this is still the case, but I used to be able to catch blue whitings like there was no tomorrow at the southern part of 55. I just didn't want them. They're not worth much. They didn't give me they didn't level up my marine fishing. But if you can get 6 of them, those are pretty big blue whitings. But if you can get 6 of them from 549, in fact, how big is that, chat? What's my biggest blue whiting? Okay, 812. So maybe that's not maybe that's doable. I mean, it's a lot of silver. 163. All right. Anyway, we got 167. I wanted to check the total. All right, total amounts 1,800. So let's just go ahead and sell this for the. It'll be worth a lot more. So 176 for the cafe wolffish. And what are we doing here? So that's swordfish, tiny little swordfish. 206 silver. Imagine catching a decent one. Yeah, those cod are great. Halibut when you don't have to fight them. So based on the rig you have, halibut are still decent if you don't have to fight them. They don't take an hour. Of course, spinies, we know those are good. Spotted, I mean, we did have the pretty decent spotted there. That shows up with 70. Opa, 48, not bad considering it's only 5 kilos. I'm grinding for the lowest amount of gear I need to do some fishing. I used Tagara 6000, got a Pilker rod, trophy gudgeon from your Ruff's fishing spot in Winding. Oh, nice. Doing good, Artalis. How are you doing? You filled that sculpin order so good. Yeah, that's great. The secret is always to expect cod and safe. That's funny. So is that true in real life as well? That's a big size for them though, for those blue whiting. Yeah, it's pretty big. I just feel like, I don't know if they still are, but they were so active, especially if you have that type of rig unlocked. I mean, I was just catching them right at the surface, like before 30 meters, over and over and over. You were disappointed that the cod is relatively rare. Usually they bite on everything. You could fish with nothing and they would still bite. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can get on cod spots in this game with the right lures or whatever. You can catch cod pretty consistently, but you're right. That cod don't feel like saithe or mackerel where they're just kind of biting on everything, or cusk. Nice swordfish you got there. Yes, my first one ever. First swordfish, first Opa. You're grinding Archie to get your silver. Very nice. Yeah, we're slowly getting back up there in silver again after buying that medium boat rod. I'll feel better once we get up there where we know we at least can afford the heavy boat rod, and also we'll need some more silver to start repairing stuff if we keep doing this sea fishing. But either way, good job, Gingy. Either way, as always, thanks for hanging out. Happy Father's Day. What a privilege to be able to hang out with you guys on Father's Day for a little while. And if you or someone that you are close to are a father, then happy Father's Day. How much time did it take me to get 27K? 27K would take a while. It's not quite as long, I guess, here at Norway, although that is balanced out by some of the amount of repairs you have to do, so not exactly sure. Should be back tomorrow for a stream tomorrow, starting a little earlier in the day, most likely. But as always, thanks for being here. Tight lines, and I will see you soon.